started to play League like 7 years ago.
It's been a bit up and downs. I started on a team with some friends back in like 2 years ago.
Well, it first started when it was actually 7, and now I'm 17 because my brother introduced me to it, and that's why I play support, because he was playing ADC. So.
Yeah, so we basically played NLC Div 2 for Thunder last split.
And I started to want to be a professional like 1 year and a half ago.
I actually started playing at 12-year-old in the East European Comic Con. I took part in a Fortnite tournament there, and I actually got second place. And I guess that's what intrigued me about esports.
And then I just grinded and so try hard at solo queue.
And we ended third in the regular split, and then we kinda we struggled here and there in the playoffs, but at the end of the day, we were the best team, and we managed to, you know, promote.
1 year and like 2 years ago, I passed like the final exam when you're a student in France, and after you have to choose your study. But there was nothing that was very interesting for me.
Like seeing and hearing all the fans that are there and like cheering for somebody. The feeling you get, like even if you're the underdog, just like it's so nice.
A team in Benelux sought me out, and I played there for a split in the Pro Am.
So I was like, the only thing I really like to do is playing League of Legends, and I think I'm good enough to try to be professional. So I just started to go full time.
I saw that I'm good at League, so I wanted to do something with that. So I started to play in tournaments. I played in some Romanian tournaments and in some Romanian teams.
And then I took a break from comp, and then now I'm here.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the NLC. We're getting ready to go into our fourth and final game of the day. This one is going to be UniQ versus Verdant. Another one where overall, as far as they go in the standings, very close to one another. Verdant are a team who a lot of people are talking about right now as being one of the best teams in the league overall. I'm just going to go straight to you, Aragon. What do you think UniQ's chances are here? Do you think they're a team who are capable of challenging Verdant? I mean, I clearly did because I voted for them, but you know, I want an intelligent person's insight.
Okay, don't overestimate, because I've made a lot of bad predictions here tonight.
Oh yeah, Foxy, tell me.
Regardless, yeah, go ahead, Foxy, take it away.
Oh no, I don't know what to say. I mean, the fact that I think the fact that Verdant have four Danes on the team means I think our host of the day might be particularly keen on seeing these guys do well. But no, I think, you know, with the way that Verdant have been playing, and especially since you know, they were runners up last split as well. Like they're clearly very experienced as a squad as well. So it's not just this current performance, so that they're, you know, 3-1, doing really well, and one of the teams challenging for the best in the league. I just think honestly that Knight has been absolutely lights out. I think he's been one of the better mid laners. I think he's been really solid. He's been banging. Gooby and Vendel is a solid bot lane as well, and that's like a really strong foundation for a very strong team in the NLC. So yeah, I think favourites towards Verdant here, and UniQ will definitely have difficulty taking them down, but certainly not impossible.
Yeah, so, okay, like, realistically, I don't think it's probably going to happen. I think Verdant just are too good individually, and this was the issue we saw last week with UniQ. UniQ got so outclassed individually that nothing mattered. No macro mattered, no compositions mattered, nothing mattered, because in lane, they just got completely crushed. I think it was Cassiopeia versus Yasuo from Envy Carrying. We just saw how good Envy Carry's Yasuo is, right? But last week it happened again, and I believe Cassiopeia got forced to recall at 3 minutes in, and then also ganked on repeat without TP non-stop for the first 10 minutes. And then bot lane was also getting 2v3'd and 2v2'd constantly by Toaster. So I don't know what happened to UniQ last week, but what was happening was, realistically, they just got so gapped individually, and Woljo was there just to pick up the pieces, trying to make whatever he could work. So I felt a little bad, Woljo. If they play like they were in week 1, then maybe they have a chance, but otherwise I don't think so.
Alrighty, well, we are into Champ Select. We're going to see Draven getting banned away, the Yuumi also getting banned away. Also, now I remember why I got Pooey muddled up with Poo, because it's Poopy on the side of UniQ.
Yeah.
That's why.
These names.
Poopy and Rusty Sniper. What a combination down in that bot lane.
That sounds
Brilliant.
like some dirty thing that
No,
school
I'm not.
kids say.
I
You
ain't
know
said nothing.
exactly what I mean.
ain't said nothing. I have no idea what you're talking about, and that's going firmly on your shoulders and not mine. I was implying nothing of the sort. A Blitzcrank ban coming through, though. Poopy's not going to be able to play that. So there's LeBlanc taken away as well. No shockers on that with the static Shiv being so strong. We see it in every game. It's a shame you can't ban items, but yeah, no LeBlanc being thrown into this one. Not surprised as well with, in my opinion, Nita being one of the stronger mid laners that we have here in NLC. I certainly would not want to give him one of the strongest champions on this patch. Yumi and Milio being taken away too. That's 3 supports gone as well. Maybe we see a 4th one here and really pinch that support pool, who knows, but it's going to be that Maokai instead, which means that Vi is open for another time, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Taxa opt into that one.
So, crucially, I just want to highlight to anyone who might not know that Poopy is probably one of the best Blitzcranks in EU as well. He has like a 60+% win rate on Blitzcrank over hundreds of games, and it is like his most played champion by far. So, maybe they just say, you know what, guys, I don't want to deal with this. We're banning it away, and UniQ's bot laner does not get it today. They get NiKo here, right? And I'm really excited for this. I hope they pair it off with something. I've been trying to call for this the entire night, but I really want to see NiKo Nocturne. I think it's such a good pick. Maybe not into Xayah now. Xayah Vi is super good because you secure Vi with the ability to deny the Vi pick on the Xayah pick on the other side, which counters the Vi, right? You take away the pairing, and now if they lock in Zeri, it'd be a bit strange because Vi inherently counters Zeri. It's a little bit rough. Yeah, I mean, maybe they just value Zeri so highly, and for these scaling compositions, which is something I want to highlight as well. They love scaling. Verdant, they are our slowest team in the league. Okay, you think you've seen slow in some of the other games? This is our slowest team in the league, and they're good at it, but they are slow. So prepare yourselves for a lack of action. They will play scaling mid, scaling top, scaling bot lane, especially with Den Voxney.
Well, looking for the final rotation here, seeing if they are actually going to lock that in. I thought not. Unless we're starting to see like static Shiv Vladimir, at which point we know we've gone too far. The Soraka is going to get locked in here. That's a lot of sustain now over to UniQ. You know, you got the Wish, you obviously got the healing coming in. I worry that a single NiKo ult though just completely wins a team fight. We'll have to keep our eyes on how Nita does kind of pilot this as we're moving into this next ban phase. Basically, well, 100% matching one another here. Apart from the jungle role, actually, I'm an idiot. So they're going to ban away the Jarvan. On the other side, I expect to see Verdant trying to ban away just solid mid laners. Who do you pick into NiKo?
Yeah.
No, listen. Wait. Hear me out.
Oh, no.
NiKo jungle. Look, NiKo. Okay, so NiKo jungle in solo queue is banging. Okay, absolutely banging. I was doing some like deep dive win rate, research stuff, whatever, for my new clickbait video, and I found this guy who does NiKo jungle in Challenger, absolutely smashes it, and he's really good at it. And it's really strong, and I think in solo queue NiKo, I would say, is stronger as a jungler than as a mid laner. I'm not so sure that's the same in comp, but I think it's still honestly not a terrible choice with Taxa, who does kind of like those like playmaking style champions. Like I've been casting Taxa for I think it genuinely was like back in like 2017, like the first EMAR. Was that even? Yeah, he's been around a long time, and he's always loved those playmaking champions. Like, I remember his Lee Sin being really good, and you know what? How else you? What better way to make plays than just disappearing as a minion and walking into someone's lane? And it would throw a spanner in the works for the draft as well. So we'll see if, it's wishful thinking, but we've got a lot of mid lane bans coming through here. So is this going to be that Orianna where Unicorn thinks he can play pretty safe into what he imagines will be that NiKo pick, and we'll see what else we get to round out this draft.
Well, there's the Cassante getting locked in the top side. We'll see what I expect to be the jungler here, unless Taxa does a retreat lined up for us. Not fresh. I mean,
it won't be.
It doesn't make any sense. Don't talk covers, guys. This is definitely not going to be picked. They have a Lulu, guys. I think it could be Kindred.
Lulu,
they do like the Kindred. It also work into the Vi a little bit. They like playing a lot of this. They played this last week with the front line. Sejuani for double front line.
Sejuani top.
Okay, look, you're not getting jungle NiKo. You're not getting jungle NiKo, okay? It's not happening.
No, don't do this.
Hey, come on, man. The only attention I've had to Renekton this entire day was a ban, right? And that's this game. It's the only attention I've gotten. And it's really weird, I won't lie, because they banned Renekton only to pick one of his counters, which is, you know, Ornn. It's a little bit odd. And Renekton does really badly into Soraka and Xayah. Don't understand it personally.Maybe they think it's valuable to them. Regardless, they banned it away, and this is the composition we've got. The Soraka pick I kind of like in the bot side because it's a very good answer into Lulu, and it outscales Lulu as well, and also can get the push. So really big fan of that, and it does look like we have a standard front to back team comp.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff across the board. Now that the teams are locked in, and we can see that it is NiKo in the mid lane. What are we feeling? Do we feel that, you know, taking the nameplates off? Do you think UniQ have a good team drafted and they can handle Verdant, or do you feel like Verdant are just their team is better?
I'm leaning more towards Verdant. I think like it's pretty straightforward, and there's so much like dogpiling on the side of Verdant. Like it's so cool just to jump in with like the Sejuani engage, follow it up with like a NiKo engage as well, and then Zero just goes crazy in the backline. Like I actually think that UniQ could be in a little bit of trouble. I'm not sure if they really have the answers for these engages specifically. I do like the Xayah, however, to kind of keep herself safe a little bit, and obviously Vi can work really well into the likes of Zeri. But when Lulu Zeri gets going, and especially if they find any kind of advantage, and if the junglers play for the bot side, then I would expect Verdant to be able to take this one away pretty comfortably.
It is one of those things, though. Go on, Aragon.
No, I was just going to say, I think they do have the tools to get onto the Zeri, right? They have the point click and the Vi, combine that, layer that with an Ornn ult. I do think it's possible. But I'm leaning towards actually Verdant because you do have that double front line. I really value. Yes, Vi can be a bit of a front line, but I like the Cassandre Sejuani for the front to back composition of the Lulu plus Zeri. I think it's a really nutty combination that you see a lot of in the LPL right now. They play just a lot of this standard stuff like Ruler on his Zeri, and you just have the bodies in front of the Zeri, allowing her to go in like this. So I think I'm leaning towards Verdant.
It's also one of those things where I do have to kind of add into the mix that when you're dogpiling, like Foxy was saying, something that does very well into that is the Orianna Shockwave. So they have to make sure that they do target that Ori. I feel like that's going to be the game plan regardless. And when you are running this double front line, and one of those frontliners is your Cassandre, he can separate one of the other frontliners from their team.
Exactly.
And then, like you said, they've got the Vi, who's going to be their like pseudo frontline at that point, and that's where the dogpile gets scary, and that's where UniQ Corn isn't given the space on the Orianna to find that like game-winning shockwave. Because if this game does go late like Verdant like to do, you do have to worry that both the Xayah and the Orianna are going to be in a stage where they can really take over a fight. And Orianna late game, once you're kind of like 3-4 items in, you land a 3-4 man shockwave. That's just game winning, or like at least team fight winning.
Yeah, and so I think just strap yourselves in, boys. We're in for a slow pre-6. I think it's very, very common for Taxa to... Why do I caster curse this?
What have you done?
Caster curse?
Scooby has to use the ghost to get away. The heal comes out from Wendell. UniQ, they just feel happy with the sustain. They've got Poopy on the Soraka.
Yeah, both AD carries have 3 pots, but just to go back to that point, right? Very commonly, Taxa will just farm to 6. Sejuani wants to farm to 6, makes play with their ultis, as well as Vi. Vi wants to get to ulti as soon as possible and make plays. You might get one cheeky gank, maybe in the mid lane where you're set up with a NiKo, but realistically, that's very unlikely. And what we're going to see is just both teams playing for level 6 with a very, very slow scaling composition from Verdant outside of maybe some NiKo shenanigans. Top lane's irrelevant here. It's just going to be hitting each other, whacking each other for grass procs, whilst bot lane tries to scale up as well, with maybe UniQ bullying a tiny bit.
There's a cleanse as well on the Xayah, so if there wasn't already ways for her to keep herself safe, then she's going to have that as well for the root or the stun coming through from Sejuani. It's going to be difficult for Verdant to really sat down onto her, but I think in the front to back it shouldn't matter too much. Like I can imagine a lot of these team fights being, you know, Rusty Sniper just being left alive and not being able to do anything because the rest of his team has died. Like I don't think actually getting onto Xayah is really even part of the a necessary win condition of the game plan for Verdant. Like they don't have to, right? They can simply just blow their way through the otherwise kind of poorer frontlining from UniQ here. Enough about that, because Taxa is finding his way into the enemy jungle. He's done a sneaky little path here where he might be able to pick up this blue. Wojo has no idea, and he's not going to get there in time either. His Q's now on cooldown, so easy pickup here for Taxa. Just taking away this blue. It's going to be 4 camps apiece, excuse me. Freebie right there for Taxa. Really smart. Does his whole top side and doesn't actually go for that full clear into his bot side, but sneaks his way into the enemy blue, and we'll get that camp advantage over Vite.
Yeah, we see this sometimes. 3 camp shenanigans from Sejuani into invading, right? Because she's so potent on that level 3. Doesn't even... I guess she does have permanent prior mid lane because Nico is just so ridiculous, right? That Q cooldown's so low and so oppressive that you can get prior into almost every single matchup. So knowing that, maybe she feels comfortable in 3 camping into the bot side before Vi can clear in time. And yeah, really smart from Taxa. I just got to reiterate what you said.
Well, we're going to have to see if Wojo can do any kind of recovery on that. He's not going to be able to go for the invade in response. His bot lane are just going for a reset. So he's going to get himself the crab and just reset and maybe make his way back up towards that top side, as he did get a almost full clear off if he hadn't had his blue buff stolen. But it's just going to go back to base on the back of that one. Rusty Sniper grabbing himself double longsword and a dagger. Gooby gonna probably reset on similar, if not have the Loon Quiver, because he believe he stayed for a little bit longer, so he may actually have enough gold for that Loon Quiver on this base coming in. That's just gonna be a lane getting shoved in, and like we expect, like you said, a slow early game as expected. As Gooby,
bro, some supports
stuff.
Some supports roam into mid for a cheeky little gank. Soraka roams in with the plaster. Oh, do you have a boo boo? Just throws down the hill. Oh, it's okay, you'll be fine, and then walks away again. Like, how? Just honestly, at this point, you just think, you know, of all the meta supports that you can play right now, the Rakans, the Nautiluses, all these guys going crazy, and it's like, oh, I'm on Soraka duty. I'm playing ambulance Soraka.
Oh, well, he's going to need to come back in because UniQ Cotton is chunked immediately. It's the power of the Nico at the moment. So they did get that third auto passive in as well. So nice little chunk onto UniQ Cotton. He does have the TP and his pot, so going to quite happily go back to base on a lost chapter. And now join in into the mid lane. Nice and comfortable as UniQ. Actually turning their attention towards this dragon here. They feel they got the pressure in the mid lane and the bot lane, knowing that Nita wants to go for a reset. No, they got the shove on the bot side. And that's a freebie over to UniQ. There's not really any cross map or response play to be made by Verdant. This could be like we saw in our previous game, where they take the dragon early and now can transition this into a Rift Herald, basically for free, where there's not going to be a cross map made on the other side.
Yeah, potentially. I just don't think Verdant are too unhappy with this because they do still have that insane scaling win condition, right? It's not that desperate. They're not on a timer, you know? They're absolutely not on a timer to rush to get this dragon. And whilst it's great for UniQ, it's still ultimately just a single dragon, right? They're nowhere near Soul. Both teams still have insane scaling win conditions. But yes, I completely agree. I'm looking for this Rift Herald fight. I'm looking to see how well they utilize these ultimates because Verdant do have some nasty ultimates, but so do UniQ. You know, these massive team fighting ones.
Let's look as well at how UniQ lost their last game, right? We're talking about how they just got turbo gapped in the lane phase, right? It's not happened. You know, we're 6 minutes in, and UniQ are doing really well. You know, they're keeping up, and in some cases excelling in farm. It's you know, they kind of tripped over themselves a little bit in their previous game, and so far the start to this one, they're not doing any of that, and so it'll be really interesting. I think this is a team with a lot of potential. You know, this is certainly not a bad team by any definition. Oh, Wendell was getting caught.
Wendell, Rusty Sniper's flashed forward. He actually lost vision, so he couldn't get the auto attack off. That is so unfortunate. Flashed for nothing.
Yeah, managing to chain the CC into the root, really, really nice. Actually securing for Rusty Sniper and forcing the flash. Now, for that next dragon, you said potentially, or for the next Rift Herald, Wendell might opt to roam up to topside and contest that Rift Herald, but now he'll be flashless, so he could be a sitting duck for a Vial or an AoE Ornal, right? That's going to be potentially problematic here, with Rift Herald spawning in under a minute's time. Now, maybe that changes the decision. Maybe they fundamentally say, you know what, without this flash, without these summoners, I don't want to contest Rift Herald. I don't feel comfortable. Maybe we have to break that freeze that's being set up bot side by Rusty Sniper. But the thing is, so Zeri, what people should know about Zeri is Zeri's one of the few AD carries that actually rushes Berserkeries every single time, almost every single time, and that allows us to have more move speed to potentially go towards that Rift Herald. So should she choose to do that, she will have move speed to come back down and prevent a cross map. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. They're going to get pushed in. Wendell, off the back of that chunk, is actually going to have to reset and come to the lane so that Gooby can actually receive this wave. And maybe now they're going to be slow on the Rift Herald. You can see that Poopy will probably make his way over there.
It's like Rusty Sniper just grabbing that Noon Quiver. Crit Cloak is just going to make their way down to the bot side. You can see Poopy walking through the blue side. So if a play does look to happen, he will be able to rotate a little bit faster over. Right now, though, both junglers are on the bottom side of the map, so will not be transitioning towards the Rift Herald yet. Although with the pings going down, looks like this actually might just be the game plan for Verdant.
It's going to be interesting here to see what Verdant decides to opt to. Because I do think this Herald will be a good idea, and I think, you know, even though Wendell doesn't have his summoners, it's going to be hard for them to just decide to not go for it. I think they're going to go for it anyway, but I think this charge up from Voldo here, he might just... Oh, yeah, there it is! Whoa, that would have been pretty risky there. It's a good flash out, though, from Nita. But I wonder, actually, does that benefit maybe... I think that still benefits Verdant. Not having the shockwave is way more important than not having the flash, especially considering he's
Zoom as well.
Yeah, he's mega oom. Like that clockwork wind up. I mean, it does a little bit more damage on your auto attacks, but it's not a great position. I think Verdant, they really should look to be a bit more aggressive. But look at Sniper. He's come up from bot side. Gooby is still in the bot lane. This might just be Unique's one to take away for free here, as Verdant are looking to back away.
Yeah, Arco also rotating over, so both top and bot lane willing to give up farm to make sure that they get this objective for the team. That may just be a plate, though, or two in response for Gooby, which means you actually kind of net gain nothing if that is the case for Gooby. Hopefully we'll have a look down bot side and see what he was able to pick up. Yep, so that's 2 plates, all onto Gooby. So basically the Herald kind of doesn't do much for them now off the back of that. Meanwhile, they lost gold and experience because they went in for the roam. Does look like Unique, though, aren't completely satisfied with this. So they are going to rotate Unique Corn down just to clear out the wave and maybe see if there's an opportunity for a fight.
Yeah. Definitely seeing that play, that whole Rift Herald, that tangle right there, it seemed a bit indecisive, right? You can see Poopy halfway walk down to River. I said he was going to go to Rift Herald because I wanted him to make a decision to go to Rift Herald or go bot, either one, and potentially play for the bot lane plates or go to the Rift Herald. But he like halfway went. In the end, it doesn't matter, right? In the end, they still go to the Rift Herald, and based off of the fact that Verdant weren't comfortable fighting, they actually managed to take it. I think Poopy's get caught out now.
Yeah, Poopy's dead. He's got the flash, but it's not going to do enough. The wish comes in. They're going to look to chase onto the Q, catching up onto 2, but that is not going to be what they needed. You could see Woljo was in the area waiting to get that ultimate, waiting to get the Rift Herald down so they could turn it into a plate and into a dragon. But with that pick, that's going to be dragon over the Verdant.
And that is one of the downsides to Soraka. Like, when she's around and when she's alive, she makes it very hard for you to kill her friends. But if you can get a jump onto her and focus her, she's pretty easy to take down. You know, she's got no real good self-peel unless you count throwing down her E for the root and silence. Unique might look to contest this one. It's going to be the TP in through from great Shockwave.
Shockwave's huge, massive Featherstorm. Wendell goes down. Dragon resets, but Taxus chased onto as Unicorn finds the kill. Nilly caught out by the silence being chased onto as Echo is looking to jump forward. Nilly has the displacement, though, charged up on the Q. Unique, very, very proactive and reading the plays really, really well.
Yeah, managing to find that shockwave as they pass through to the top side, trying to avoid that dragon. Like, really, really nice play from Unicorn. That's the second shockwave we've seen, crucially, before an objective fight. And he's managing to single-handedly get them these dragons and these Rift Heralds on his own.
Really big. Really, really big stuff coming in. Rusty Sniper's now finished up his Kraken Slayer. Is even getting a reset off the back of this as Unicorn just catching this wave in the mid lane with Poopy to make sure that his health bar isn't too low.
Doing his duty as Soraka roaming around there. Yes, of course, going to make sure your friends are all healthy and kept topped up. I'm really impressed right here by Unique's early game. I think their laning itself has been solid, but it's their macro and their team play decisions that have really stood out to me. You know, two dragons up, getting that Herald as well, and I love the highlighting of the shockwaves there from Aragon. Like, just it's perfect. Like the shockwave to blow the flash from Nico, the shockwave right there as well to win that team fight. Unicorn has done some really big plays here, and it has secured his team these objectives. It's great coming through from the mid lane here.
Yeah, really nice stuff indeed. As does look like there's actually going to be Taxa coming into this bot side, maybe looking for a dive. They've got the Featherstorm, they've got the Wish, and the Cleanse Flash on Rusty Sniper, so it might be a little bit too hard to do so.
potentially could use the combination of the Vi and the Nicol to move into river now. You see UniQ actually has priority here. He can push out the next wave and then make a play down the river. Dragon isn't going to be up for a while, so there's no obligation for them to fight just yet. UniQ does have that push, and now they're dragging Verdant around the map. You could see that now they get pushed down bot side. And then they can use that too, and now they can move into top side with that Vi and the Nico as well, or choose to fight if they want.
So
they
threat
can
of the
convert
Herald
this into a plate.
It's the threat of the Herald is the problem, is Verdant do not want to be giving it up for free, as it doesn't feel like Warjo was ready to throw it down yet, but now he's going to be using it in the mid lane. They've got one plate for free. They will be able to get the second one. Pippy's making sure that this wave does shove in. And there it is. The charge is going to come out. There's going to be no defense from Verdant off the back of that one. Bunch of plates over to the side of UniQ. I don't know if UniQ actually got the gold from the plate or not there, actually. I think he was out of range.
I didn't quite see what ended up happening with the gold allocation. I mean, if he didn't get the gold, that would definitely be a bit of an oopsie there from UniQ. I think all in all, though, that was really well played. Like, they are just absolutely dragging Verdant around the map, and there's just Verdant don't really seem to know what to do or how to respond here. Really is a lot of confidence that UniQ are playing with, and this macro has been really impressive so far. And you can see a little bit of a, just in the CS in the bot side, the fact that Rusty Sniper has been moving around the map as much as he has to secure these objectives or secure pushes or what have you. He's still equal with Azeri. It's really, really good stuff. It's a perfect position right here for UniQ, and they're finding themselves in exactly where they want to be. And now with this rotato into the top side of the map, again ahead of the curve on Verdant, as this next Herald will be spawning. They're going to be in position for it. They're going to be able to walk around here, get some vision down, deny some vision of their own as well. We'll see how Verdant respond.
You see, gonna try and match plates down bot side. Oh, plates are actually down, so maybe they're gonna move into the. This rotation's a little weird. I won't lie. They're going to give her a first blood turret. Maybe Uko's just too tanky to give it a go, but they are going to lose turret here. I think they can just push up the next wave and then take it. Yes, you get first move on the second Herald, but
no, I think that's a good point. No, honestly, I didn't realize how low that tower was for UniQ. I agree. I'm not sure giving away the first turret right there is 100% optimal. We'll see. I don't even think they're going to be able to answer anything in the top side, really, are they? Like, yeah, I think if you're Verdant, you'll take that for sure.
I feel like that play was smart if they're able to take the top side turret and get the Herald guaranteed, and then
or
they
if that
can
bot tower
use the
was
Herald.
so low.
Yeah, and they could use Herald to then take mid tower. Then at which point you've traded 2 towers for 1. So I guess that could be a decent play, but they've only been able to take a big chunk out of that top tower, but not a big enough chunk to take it down. Dragon's now spawning up in 40 seconds, and maybe they look for a kill here onto Gooby. He does get spotted out thanks to the scrying ward, just to make sure that he's nice and safe.
The problem with Rift Herald, and this has always been the issue with it, and it's really been one of the contesting points of any professional analysts breakdown of, I'm going to save this point because we're going to get a big fight here from Taxa.
Jumping in onto Poopy immediately. He's still holding that wish for as long as possible. Throws it down. Actually holding it for just a little bit longer. Knight is looking to come in. The shockwave does land onto that side as in comes the Ornhorn, catching out onto 2 and getting a knock-up. But Verdant looks to just be winning this fight. Nice and easy double kill over to Gooby.
Perfect fight right there. Absolutely nice catch from Taxa. One of the best catching junglers in the game in Sejuani. You've got to respect that. And UniQ were just pushing up a little bit too far. I think they thought maybe they could dive Gooby in that situation. I'm not 100% certain what the goal was from UniQ, because they were certainly like the aggressors in that scenario, but doesn't come out on top, and instead it is Verdant able to get something back from this one. And it does put a little bit of a spanner in the works for UniQ, who did have great tempo in this one, who are on a roll. And having 2 dragons, were potentially looking to get put on Soul Point early. If Verdant, who were kind of struggling in this one just a teeny weeny little bit, and one of our better scaling teams, going to be very happy to put the brakes on UniQ Snowball here and get that dragon and stop that Soul from going down so early.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we saw from Verdant in the previous games. They just outscale you and then out-teamfight you. And this is why the Lulu and the Enchanter and the Zeri is just the exact same look for Gooby, right? Last time they had an Azir Zeri and it was just too much for them. And this time it's the exact same thing with the Zeri, right? And I think there's another pick going to happen to Tax.
Ooh.
Manages to get out. That was really close, though. Potentially a disastrous pick. Actually, it's not right before Dragon. There's some time still. It's going to be okay. At most, they just lose a tower there, even if he dies. So no bounty, nothing too bad to worry about.
No, this isn't the previous game where someone has to die right before Dragon spawns.
I think I'm on edge from that game,
Yes,
honestly.
Exactly. You've been accustomed to a certain death timer here, which no, they did just take that Dragon. So Verdant are going to be okay with that one, pretty safe in that one as well. Taxus having to flash away, but almost going down there and still getting a little bit too confident.
Well, UniQ able now to mop up all of the outer towers, so they have given themselves a nice injection of cash. It's only still a minor gold lead of 1,000 over to the side of UniQ. Rusty Sniper hasn't been able to finish up their second item yet either, but getting that kind of global gold, also just opening the map up a little bit deeper for you to kind of safely push up and place that vision. I do worry that I might have to hold that, though, because UniQ finds himself in danger. Poopy pops the wish to keep himself alive. In comes Nilly on the flank, separating Poopy from everybody. Down comes the Featherstorm. In comes the tidy up. Gooby's low HP. UniQ can't finish up the kill as Nilly is a menace for everybody on the side of UniQ. A triple kill over to Nilly.
Yeah, and they managed to find Poopy with this core engage, and it's really important when you play against these Soraka compositions that you focus the Soraka first, so she cannot heal everyone up after you've engaged on them. They managed to find it, and just in the end, all the summoners were blown. I believe Voljo tried to engage onto the black line, but there's just no follow-up. And in this meta where you have Vi, it's really important you like layer your CC on top of the Vi ult, but there just wasn't there. Gooby managed to survive with all this peel, and in the end, Gooby just has no threats and can free hit for the rest of the fight.
It was close though, wasn't it? Gooby almost fell down. It was about 100 health at the end of that one, but the fact that he survives is crucial because he does have that bounty going down as well. And now UniQ really going to be struggling in this one, because I feel like if you're playing versus Verdant, this is a team comp that you absolutely, under no circumstances, want to be in a position where you are face checking Fog of War. You cannot do it versus Sejuani and versus Nico, and you're about to see one of the painful reasons why. As you face check, get knocked up and get rooted, Uko's just going to have to flash out of this one. It's so difficult. If you don't know where Verdant are, they can catch you so easy. If you're walking into them, they just instantly lock you up and knock you down. It's so difficult to play. And now UniQ are going to be really struggling in this one to just maintain some control on the map.
Still relatively close, and I think Nilly basically separating all of the like kind of key UniQ players in that fight was the winning factor for that previous fight. But does look like Verdant now rotating multiple people towards the top lane. Woljo's making his way over. They do have the wish onto Poopy if they want to keep him alive. He has no flash, like you said. The wish should come in any moment now as he's locked in place. He's going low, but he's able to survive. In comes the Ornhorn. Knock up onto two. Woljo immediately jumps in. Shockwave comes down, only lands onto one. Rusty Sniper joins into the fight, but Nilly is able to lock everybody in place. The health bars are low. Can Rusty tidy this one up? In comes the Featherstorm. Can he pull the feathers back in time? That's going to be the question. Looks like he's unable to do so, and that fight was so scattered, but Verdant take the win there.
My goodness, how do you kill this Zeri? Indestructible with that Lulu focus as well. That was so gross, and I have to say this is probably just going to be a little bit of a visage of things to come in this game, in these team fights. The Triforce Rush, originally designed as a bruiser item, giving you so much health as well, alongside what will most likely be like the Titanic, I believe it is, that Zeri likes to pick up sometimes. Either way, it's a lot of health with Lulu shields, the heals, the ulti. I mean, we talked about how Vi is such a good counter into Zeri, and that's because Vi presses R, lock Zeri down, and a lot of Zeri's survivability relies on her mobility, and that's, you know, it's good for Vi to be able to shut it down. At this point, it doesn't matter. Her survivability isn't the fact that she jumps over walls and she hops around and stuff. Her survivability is the fact she's got about 6,000 health and a pocket Lulu. How are you going to get through that, man? It's going to be so difficult to navigate these team fights now. It's looking so tough here for UniQ.
Wait,
Yeah.
do UniQ even bother fighting this dragon? I feel like it's only
Absolutely.
the
Hell
second
no.
for Verdant, right?
Hell
Like,
no.
yeah. They were posturing like they wanted to fight for that, and I'm like, maybe get like a Last Whisper onto Rusty Sniper so you can actually kill the tanks.
So The problem is, right, their composition did everything it needed to in the last fight. They layered the Vial into the Ornal, into the Orianna, but Gooby didn't die, right? That's everything you have, with Rusty hitting with loads of feathers as well. And when that doesn't work, your composition completely, it just doesn't function anymore, right? Because then you're praying that Rusty Sniper has enough DPS to get through. But at that point, Gooby has no threats. And then Gooby can escape afterwards with all the peel from the Lulu. So they need to get to a point where that threshold of damage, I think it might be...
Echo?
Oh no.
Gonna try
here we
and
go.
go for it. This is gonna be really, really close. Taxa wants to make his way in. Baron, half HP. They're waiting for the opportunity. Taxa jumps in comes the Ornhorn. They need to get the knock up on the multiple members. Able to do so for the moment. Gooby, untouched. Look at the health bar on the Zeri. Just untouchable. They went for the DPS check. They have damage. It's just a scary, scary team on the enemy side.
It was close. It was close. You have decent Baron DPS, especially Vi with every third hit doing a bunch of percentage health damage. Always good versus neutral objectives, but unfortunately for them, Verdant were just a little bit too clued on to that play, and it's not going to work out for them. It was a good try though, and I have to say, like, even though UniQ now are really struggling this one and looking like it's going to be a difficult game for them to pull back.
That's a flash out of Gooby.
There's no flash on Gooby, but
They're running to Baron.
Yeah.
they're going to do it. Yeah, okay. Ignore everything I'm saying. Let's go. Round 2, baby. Round 2, UniQ. Let's go. You can do this. I believe in you guys. You've had some good macro plays. Gooby is still nowhere to be seen.
Oh, UniQ
Will they be able to pull it off?
Warjo's keeping the Baron aggroed up. They have a Soraka, so they can keep the health bars nice and refreshed, so they don't really lose too much for trying to contest this. Unfortunately, it just feels like the number is had here by Verdant. They just know every time what the game plan is, as they are still trying to get control in the area. UniQ doesn't realize he's standing on top of a ward. Unfortunately, they finally do spot it out, as the Crab is actually going to get finished up by the side of Verdant, so now they have even more kind of safety to play with, as Taxa looking for an opportunity to maybe find a pick onto somebody. UniQ low on mana. Resets coming in from Taxa. From UniQ, as they are trying to chase onto them. Taxa's looking for that ultimate, unable to hit onto Poopy. Can they find the survivability? Looks like they do miss out on the feather callback. Just a little bit of damage.
It's almost the third time that Poopy gets caught by that Sejuani ulti. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, something. Fool me 3 times, something. Didn't happen. So no one's the fool here just yet. But I smell something even worse, and it is this giant purple worm is gonna... Oh, there's the flashing gaze. Oh, the
No way! Did he pull that one off? Huge ultimate, the shockwave response though by UniQ. Nature saved the day. Double kill picked up here onto Gooby. Rusty Sniper's trying to get the damage off. There's the triple. There's the quadra. Gooby is going for the penta. He's going to try and jump over the wall. UniQ, can he escape? Penta kill over to Gooby.
Disgusting, hideous display of gameplay right there for the 10,000 health bar Zeri. He was frontlining for the whole of that pentakill. He picked up 2 early kills and wasn't even auto-spacing and doing some kind of masterclass in ADC. He just literally ran into their faces, into melee range, and just shot them down for the pentakill. Brilliant stuff there from Gooby. Disgusting display of ADC. And they didn't get the Baron beforehand, but it looks like they might just be able to pick it up now.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happens when Azeri runs out of threats on the enemy team, right? You saw all the ultimates come down, all the spells come down, and instantly Gooby presses R and goes in, and there's just nothing to stop her running down, lawn-mowing the entire enemy team. She just gets to auto-attack for free. Beautiful.
Turns into the ward, Woljo. They know this is going on. It looks like we're going in for round 10 of whatever this Baron fight is. Verdant peeling away off the back of this one. Now that UniQ is here, he's got that Blighting Jewel as well, so a little bit more Magic Pen, a little bit more damage to work with. As Verdant, they just decide that Dragon number 3 is more useful to them than this Baron, so they're going to go for the contest. I say that, and then they step out.
Cursed. And it's
Oh,
fine.
beautiful ultimate, actually. Locking down onto Poopy. Poopy able to get the wish off. Maybe a little bit too early. Featherstorm comes down. Pulls back to the kill onto Taxa. Taxa goes down. Sniper's getting chunked out, but he's able to secure himself the double kill. Don't Gooby chasing onto Ukko and UniQ as they are desperately trying to go for the escape. Ukko goes down. UniQ can't do anything but watch. Lulu is so crazy. Gooby just has infinite health, infinite shields. And UniQ, they played that fight great, but Gooby he just played it better.
And he's just saying, what is a tower, right? But again, the threats come down not onto Gooby. The Orn Horn doesn't land onto him. It lands onto everyone else. It lands onto UniQ, great. It lands onto Nita, great. But who cares when Gooby is so darn fed, and the second you use your Orn Horn, he can press R and go in.
So
He's
gross.
got 3k health.
Honestly, he's like the tankiest guy in this game. And he's got a pocket Lulu, and he's got 1 million damage. Like, it's so... I just... Genuinely, like, aside from the fact that I'm flabbergasted at what this guy is putting off in this game, I don't know what the answer is. I genuinely don't know. Like, Bloodthirster now, he's got a huge bunch of life still coming through to keep him alive, as if his massive health bar wasn't enough. And now a stopwatch, the most broken item... Well, I guess Static Shift exists, but one of the most broken items in the game. Like...
The most broken item you can buy for 600 gold.
Exactly, and to keep yourself alive as well.
Oh, Nita, he's found Sniper. Sniper's in danger. The wish comes down. He's down, and that is the kill for Nita. That might have been the game-winning play from Nita there. Absolutely massive, taking out Eddie Carry in support.
Wait, I missed it. Was he a minion in that? I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't paying full attention. That's mental. Yes, we like. At least you get one of those. It feels so good to be at least one of those plays in each game.
I love that champion so much.
She's a lot of fun.
You know, I haven't seen a caster not giggle when he turns into a ward and starts walking around. Legitimately, on every single cast. But...
It's never not entertaining seeing a ward waddle around.
Would you say he's waddling around?
Oh, I've missed casting with you so much. Oh, UniQ. He's in danger. Lovely sidestep there, actually. Gets the teleport in as well to get away, but there's a tank, Gooby, at the front. How much health has Gooby got? Too much.
Too much.
With the shield, that's,
way too
with
much.
The shield, that's almost 4k, by the way.
Yeah.
More than Ornn. More than Ornn and more than Cassante.
That is so unreasonable.
Illegal. Pure illegal gameplay from... you know, people complain about Zeri, and Zeri Lulu specifically, quite a lot. And, you know, fair enough. There's good reasons to complain about Zeri. But one of the things that that you don't hear as the forefront complaint about this champion is the fact that she gets 4,000 health. But yeah, she gets 4,000 health as well. She's already got a pentakill in this game. She's 12-0, and is the tankiest person alive. Like, it's just so difficult from this point. Like, I actually think Razi Sniper has played a really good game, and the way he's spacing in his team fights, yeah, he's doing good. He's contributing a lot. It's just, you just cannot compare to what Zeri is able to output right now. And if we're at that point again where Verdant complete control of the game, one dragon away from the Dragon Soul, finally able to pick up that Baron as well. They're going to get the engage onto Nilly. Will UniQ Baron find a kill?
Oh, lovely little pick there. They did commit the ultimate from the Vi, though, as Gooby, Nita pretending to be Lulu there, just waddling around at the front. And lovely little pick there by UniQ, but ultimately it doesn't really result in too much. As Ukko, he can't defend the tower. He's just losing too much passive damage to Gooby, and Gooby able to finish that one up. No real opportunity for UniQ to do much of anything here.
And it's just so difficult, right? Maybe, well, making that pick, you slow down the Baron Siege, right? But realistically, they can just 4v5. I'm pretty sure they don't even need Nilly at this point, right? I won't lie, I haven't really noticed Nilly in this game. He's just been kind of a body block for Gooby to absorb cooldowns, but they have a Sejuani too. So now they're going to go into this 1-2-2 kind of setup in mid and bot lane, but I think they can get away with it because of the lack of the Vial, which might come up soon. It's just he's so damn tanky, and now he's respawned, he's TPing top lane. It's going to become a 1-3-1 as well.
Yeah, it's very hard for them to defend versus this one. Baron still got plenty of time for them to take this top lane tower. Inhibitor being left open. Gooby just taking out the inhib, not even fussed about the members of UniQ, but here comes the Ornhorn. They're going to look to try and throw it on. Gooby dodges away onto that one. Nearly tries to separate Ukko from the rest of the Packers. In comes Niter with a 3-man ultimate. Poopy with a wish, but it's a little bit too little. It's a little bit too late. Ukko going down. Gooby still full HP. Rusty Sniper's health bar is just liquefied as maybe they can find their kill onto Gooby. Maybe they can finally find the shutdown. No, they cannot. Woljo can't even get close as he goes down. The tower will fall. UniQ trying to see if he can clear through the minion wave, but Gooby getting most of his health back. A double kill was gifted over to UniQ, but their base is in shambles.
A dragon spawning up as well. This will be the Dragon Soul for Verdant. 3 members down, however, if UniQ decide to go for this one, but I think they've just got to pick up the tatters of their base. I don't think they'll be able to get out and contest this one. Woljo is thinking about it. He's trying, but it'll be gone. It'll be too little, too late. It's not going to be alive for the contest. I say that, but I actually might be. No, it is. It is going to be. She hesitated. It was the pure hesitation. I actually think there was maybe a window where he could have got in there, but either way, it's not happening. It's the Dragon Soul. 4-stack Cloud Drake for Verdant. Dragon Soul under their belt, as if this game wasn't hard enough. Give credit and props to UniQ for holding on, but it's just getting harder and harder.
All right, here's our silver lining. Gooby actually can't get any stronger, other than when he hits level 18. That he's at maximum strength right now. That's your copium. It's probably not enough dosage.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, right, you can see Rusty Sniper's actually not that far behind. He's like half an item behind now, right? Like, legitimately, there is hope, but they have to land everything. Yeah, realistically, they have one chance where they have to land absolutely everything. So far, I won't lie, it's been on Ukko not landing these Ord engages. Yes, it's difficult, but almost every single ram has just whiffed onto Gooby or gone for different targets. And you cannot afford to not burst out Gooby, because he is the main carrier of this team who will take over a fight if all the threats are gone. And he keeps doing that, so we'll have to see what UniQ do. They need a dream combo here.
Well, let's see if they've got enough fuel in the tank to at least hold on. Do find themselves a knock-up onto Taxa. Can't really get too much there as UniQ just trying to clear through the wave on the other side. Those ornaments are starting to come in, though, which is going to be fairly major here. Rusty Sniper getting himself, those additional stats from the upgraded Quick Blade, but a massive pop... can't remember the name of the NekoQ there. NekoQ does a lot of damage.
Pop Blossom.
No, Pop Blossom's the ultimate. Yeah.
That's right,
Niter is going to waddle towards them. See if he can find that opportunity to get that big ultimate off. Does have that flash, but this tower is being whittled down, and there's a massive wave in the top side. It's really now or never for UniQ, and I think it might just be never at this point. Poopy chunked out, desperately trying to clear through the waves. This Niter's going to have to go to the top just to catch that wave. Rusty Sniper's going to help him deal with it, and the tower goes down. Poopy dodging away on the ultimate. Ukko able to dodge away for now, but he's chunked out pretty heavily here. Tower's going low. Taxa's going to get himself knocked up. Finished up. No, stopwatch comes in. Gooby's got the ultimate. Niter with the 3-man Pop Blossom, tidying this one up nice and easy. Nearly going low, but Rusty Sniper doesn't have the health bar to work with. There is no towers defending the Nexus. Sniper throws down the ulti, but it can't even save him. Gooby is unstoppable, and that was an absolutely nail-biter game coming in from Verdant.
To start with, it was all looking UniQ, to be honest. They did really, really well. They got the early objectives, they got some early kills, their macro rotations. It was really impressive. I thought it was a great game. And even when they started to fall behind, they were looking for ways to get back into it. And I give a lot of props to them, because I do not think that UniQ looked bad at all in this game. But Verdant are just very good at League of Legends. And Lulu.
Yumi.
Bloody hell, what was I thinking? Lulu.
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 Yumi, homie.
Bloody hell, yeah.
I mean,
Zeri Lulu is gross.
I mean, that's why you see Zeri permabanned. That's just kind of like your reminder. It's like, oh yeah, we forgot because Static Shiv LeBlanc was so scary, but Zeri is still absolutely ridiculous. Riot, it has been like 9 months. Sort this champion out. It's driving me nuts. This champion is so insanely strong.
But Aragon, honestly, I want to talk about Niter for a moment here, because I feel like a lot of the setup that really allowed Gooby to shine came from Niter's Nico play.
Yeah, no, exactly right. So Naito would create a lot of space, and that's crucially, I like what you say there, because that's crucially the difference, right? Who can create more space for each AD carry on each team is a really big theme of current day's meta, because it's all about team fighting. And Gooby with these 3-man ults, well, when you're using all your tools defensively, how can you use them aggressively? You just can't, which allows Gooby to press R, and crucially, that's really important for Zeri. Zeri is waiting for all the threats to be down so that she can press R and keep up the charges and keep going forward and chain lightning everyone. But Gooby, really highlight, because every single ultimate he made was just a multi-man ult. When you compare that to side of Unique's team fighting, every ult, whilst there was one team fight in topside that was layered, all the CC and every single other fight was kind of like scattered and it didn't chain, and that way you don't create enough space for Rusty Sniper to hit.
I'm curious, because we do need to decide on an MVP. Do we actually give it to Naito on that Nico? Because he was constantly and consistently hitting like opening ultimates, but basically set up Gooby. Yes, Gooby got a pentakill, and I know he'll be salty, but he doesn't get MVP on a pentakill game. But I actually think Naito did some serious heavy lifting there, and I think it's one of those things where like he did a lot of the legwork so that Gooby could run there. I would actually put him in as my MVP vote, but I will let you guys decide.
We
I'm
both
going
are
with
Danish.
Gooby. The guy got a pentakill, man.
Yeah.
The guy got a pentakill. Like, I feel like it's hard to not.
I do feel you though on that, Jake, for sure. Like Naito's team fights were really good, and like multiple man knockups consistently, and Gooby 100% doesn't get his pentakill without that great engage by Naito too. So I think Naito had an absolute blinder. I really do. I really do. But
it's a hard.
but I'd
it's a hard
still
case
give it
for
to
me
Gooby. I'd
Yeah,
still give it to
argue.
Gooby.
Yeah, it was a hard case for me to argue, but I could see why. Why I think Gooby with a pentakill. Champ is so ridiculous, man. It's
just like that rare occurrence of a pentakill, right? Like super rare. You gotta say that. We also got someone quite unique for interview. We have UniQ ready on the line here. So first of all, commiserations for your loss here. Letting Zeri through. How are we feeling about that now?
Obviously not so good. I think the Zeri wasn't an issue though in hindsight. I feel like we did a lot of mechanical misplays around like early to mid game, which caused us to fall behind. And obviously like late game we got like multiple Nico ulted, so that wasn't too pleasant either.
So you would say that the Nico was the bigger issue maybe in the ping and ban phase?
I feel like she wasn't an issue, but the way we played mechanically, she became an issue. Like we didn't really pull the trigger that quick enough, and then she found some like really good engages on like multiple members. Yeah.
So you guys were kind of in the game to start with. Right? You have 2 dragons, and then all of a sudden it kind of starts falling apart. You're talking about you guys not really mechanically executing your composition correctly. Is that all down to that, or?
I feel like we for sure did some macro mistakes as well. Like there was a lot of like side lane waves that we dropped that we didn't have to, in my opinion. But it's also due to the reason that we like didn't pull that trigger that I was talking about. So yeah.
There's a final quick question to you about your time so far in the NLC. You obviously had some highs and some lows in terms of you have had some great games, especially on Victor, for example. I think you had a very great debut game.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna see more of those like super dominant performances come out of you?
Hopefully, right? When in this team, like I took over like another role. Like I didn't used to be like the main shot caller, but like I feel like kind of comfortable, and I feel like we're gonna do well if we keep improving.
Thank you so much for your time, and good luck tomorrow in your match.
Yeah, thanks. See you guys.
And then we also have an interview ready with the other mid laner here, the Nico pilot himself here, Niter. So, Niter, how are we feeling after that one? You pulled off some absolute blinders on that Nico when it came to the pop blossoms.
I just realized how bad my cam is. I'm sorry about that.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it was a fun game. Gooby got to laser everyone for 30 minutes, so it was fun.
You had fun?
Yeah, got a few Nico cheeses as well. You know how it is.
It is. I also feel like Gooby having fun is pretty important, considering your loss to Nord last week, where I think it's safe to say he didn't get to have any fun.
Yeah, I think the AD carry that gets to have fun kind of wins most of the time. So
That is that's the most simple way of breaking down what our analysts have been kind of talking about throughout these last couple of weeks. Do you think that kind of meta where we're looking at a lot of bot lane centric plays really benefits your team when you have an ADC like Gooby down there?
yeah, I think the meta has become like, obviously we're longer on 13-11. I think we would very much like to go to 13-13 because it gives us more freedom. But right now we're just playing what's strong on 13-11 and it's working for us. So.
What do you mean you don't love Static Shiv?
I mean, Static Shiv is still good on 13-13. It's more about the enchanters, I think.
Interesting. So it's more about the. So you think that the supports really are the ones that really like enables these AD, like these massive hyper carry AD carries?
Yeah, I think the issue is the enchanter meta. But hopefully that's gonna be fixed on 13-13. So then everyone can have some fun, including Nille. He doesn't get to have a lot of fun.
Nille just waiting to be like, pick me Jax, pick me Jax, pick me Jax somewhere.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Just waiting. Meanwhile, no, you're on Ornn, you're on Cassandra duty, you don't get to play anything that does any damage. But also just kind of a personal question for you, right? Because you have kind of played in the LVP, you've been around some interesting rosters here and there, and now you're back in the NLC. How does that feel?
I mean, I played here last split as well.
Oh, you did? Sorry, my bad. Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's all good. I think there's a way bigger difference between like the top and bottom teams, but I think as long as you still have good practice in scrims, it doesn't feel like that much of a difference. You just focus on playoffs. Like the regular split doesn't matter too much. Yeah, obviously it would be more fun if the league was more stacked, but there's still some good competition. So
super. I'm gonna let you go and celebrate with your team and get ready for tomorrow as well. You have a very important match there. So thank you so much for your time, Nider. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you
maybe.
too.
Who knows?
Take care. Bye.
All right, guys. So we've kind of heard both from NV Carry and from Nider today that this might not be the most stacked situation going on, for them at least, right? But they're also having fun in the mid lane. So I'm looking forward to the next time Verdant and Radical run into each other, because who's going to be the who's going to be on the receiving end of a lost ad, do you think? I think you might be muted.
You're muted, Hiprid.
I'm an idiot. I don't actually know when it is that match, but if it's later on in the season, either way that's going to be an absolute banger, because it feels like Ruddy, they had a bit of fun on week one. You know, I think they maybe were a little bit too confident and got humbled, and then have just turned it around since. If they carry on the trajectory they're on, and same for Verdant as well, I feel like both these teams are going to be in pretty high situations where they're both going to be really, really solid. I'm hoping their rematches later on in the season, like fairly late in, like towards playoff area, because that would be an absolute banger if that's the case.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of stakes on the line there as well, because I reckon they'll be probably vying for similar spots in the standings, right? So the game will mean a bit more.
Yeah, like a butcher's laundry day, stakes on the line.
Oh, God.
I'll pretend that I got that.
You bring the worst side out of me, Foxy, man. You honestly bring it out of me.
It was a good one, though.
To be fair, that is normal. That's a normal reaction to someone that like actively used to promote Blitzcrank jungle. So that is fine. Aragon. So we've had some bangers today, right? I think we have, not so much towards the start of the day, but the last couple of games, especially the third one, was probably my favorite match of the day so far. And I'm kind of feeling like we got to see like some newer developments onto the 13-11 meta. Do you think we're going to be seeing anything different tomorrow that we haven't seen today?
Oh, I think this has been pretty accurate. I won't lie. This is pretty similar, especially the last game and also the LeBlanc games. I think that's pretty much what we're seeing in most top regions. Front-to-back team fighting, or you see this 1-3-1 kind of split push style with the LeBlanc, or 4-1 rather. I don't think we'll get much more developed past what we're seeing in the major leagues. Usually these teams take inspiration from there, and maybe once 13.3 rolls around, like Naito was saying, we'll see something new.
Great. Let's take a look at today's results here and figure out what has been going down. In case you missed some of the great matches that we have on the show today, started out with Ruddy Corp beating Nord, then we had 4-4 losing to Natives. Domino Esports taking down Veneer, and Verdant beating UniQ. And this means that our standings now are going to look like the following. There we go. Verdant 4-1, Natives 4-1, Radiant Domino moving into the 3-2 slots, and we're kind of starting to see a bit of a clearer bottom and top maybe, but Veneer at 1-4. That's kind of surprising, no, Hitbrain?
Honestly, I think Veneer are way better than 1-4. I think they have really struggled, but every time I see them, I'm impressed by them. I think the problem they've got now, though, is they put themselves in a real ditch. And to get out of here and actually look towards playoffs is going to be a lot of work for them. Yes, Nord and UniQ are both 2-3, but also I think they're two teams who I think, especially UniQ, I think are actually a lot better than their scoreline currently shows them as. I think Fourth Wall, unfortunately, I expect to see them at the bottom of the table by the end of the season. I really don't want to say that already, but I do think I'm seeing, even from our weaker teams right now in the standings, I've seen some serious potential and promise. And I mean, you know, we've seen both Veneer. Well, we saw Veneer stand up to UniQ earlier today in a very, very close game. I think UniQ still looked incredible in that game as well. It's really tight. I mean, it's only week 3, so of course it's going to be tight, but it's super, super close. And I don't think I could confidently say who our top 3 teams are going to be by the midway point yet. Purely because it feels like it's anybody's at the moment.
I just hear your thoughts first, Fox, all right? Because you kind of come in here on a guest spot. Like, is there any team here that you feel like looks to be wrong considering what you've seen today?
Wrong.
You're all wrong. Not wrongly placed, but like
static shift users. Nah, it's
those ethical questions about static shift now.
No, I get what you mean. Like, I think it's interesting because I agree with Jake. Like, there are teams that I feel like are better than their record would suggest. But when you start saying that about like 3 or 4 different teams, because I feel like that way about Nord, UniQ, Veneer, but it's like you can't all be better than how your record looks, right? Like, someone has to be the bottom feeder of the league. Someone has to be down there, right? So I actually think it's going to be really interesting to see how the split progresses, and I've been quite fortunate to jump in here towards the beginning of the split because I would not be able to call anything. Maybe top 3 I would expect to see Natives and Verdant in there. Like, I think those two seem quite like collected as a team. As teams, I should say. But outside of that, I just think anyone could really grab that 3rd spot. Anyone could contest for not only the 3rd spot, but also anyone could just completely choke it away and just end up being like 5th or 6th or something like that. Like, I really just have no idea how the split's going to shape out, which for me makes it for a very, very entertaining and exciting split to look forward to. So I am generally keen to see how the rest of summer plays out.
And something that I'm keen to see how it plays out is our predictions, because I'm just gonna it's fine.
Okay.
I wonder why you're so keen about these ones. Jake, you
wonder why.
Your goal at least. You got your.
I mean, Aragon's only 15% ahead of me. Like,
that is increasing.
Duckling's only 15% ahead of me. Like, these guys, man, like, you gotta pick it up. I'm not even trying, homie. Like, Twitter, come on, guys. Like, I'm not that far behind you guys, and I'm not trying. In fact, do you want to know how confident I am in how bad my predictions are at the moment? I've done the next 2 weeks in advance. I'm not using any kind of retrospective look back. I am just going in, and it's not because I keep missing predictions.
I have a question, Jake. Have you seen Into the Spider-Verse, the first one?
I've seen both of them.
Okay, so in the first one, and I think this is this film and not a different film that I'm getting completely mixed up, but he gets all of the questions wrong, right, on his quiz. And so the teacher's like holds him back and is like, listen, you obviously know all the answers because it would be impossible for you to get them all wrong because else you would average out at 50-50. So
Exactly
if you're
right.
getting everything wrong, therefore you must actually be the superior analyst,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Because if you know all the wrong results, that means you know all the right results, and you're choosing the opposite of the right ones.
Exactly. It takes brain to get it wrong. It takes brain to get it wrong.
It does.
I'm doing it. I'm so good at this, man. I'm actually
So
cracked
brainy,
at being
mate.
wrong.
So brainy.
And Aragon actually losing to me is a canon event as well. Like he's gonna struggle for that. Yeah, at the end you're gonna
knock as well.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a miracle comeback in the last 2 weeks and overtake Aragon just to make him look like an absolute fool.
Jake, Schalke 04, Matthews, yeah, right now. Just jokes. Nah, but also, guys, another thing we need to get your thoughts on here is we do have the Player of the Day vote that you can find over on Twitter at NLC LOL. So if you have any thoughts on that at home, you have the opportunity to tell our analysts how wrong they have been today when they pick these players. But is it Zapdo, Vladdy, Shackle, or Gooby, Aragon?
Ooh, I think it's either Zapdo or Vladdy. But Vladdy was abusing LeBlanc, so I'm going to say Zapdo for the early pathing into the just domination from jungle.
Yeah, it's hard. I actually think it's quite a nuanced take to say Zapdo, because it was about his pathing and how he set up his whole team for success. Yeah. Like, it really did. It was instrumental and pivotal, but it wasn't flashy and it wasn't sexy. So Gooby is the MVP of the day with his sick pentakill that he did all by himself. Did you see him flash in 1v5? Like, there was no one else around. I heard he did that, right? I heard that's what happened. It was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, insane pentakill, yeah.
Insane. It was one of the best things I've ever seen. I heard Fakers at home watching the NLC, and he watched it and he started crying and then clapped.
I actually can't give it to Azeri. I literally it's physically impossible. I'll actually throw up if I do that. I actually kind of, as much as I want to give it to a LeBlanc and it's gonna hurt my every fiber of my being, I actually think Shackle is a really honorable mention for MVP of the day. He was just
there's
giving
4 choices. There's obviously going to be honorable mentions. Mate, you can't say that.
Okay, he's my MVP of the day. He was giving. I can't remember who was playing Heimerdinger now. I completely forgotten the name of the
Garfield.
player.
Garfield. Yeah.
He was giving Garfield like proper jump scares. Every time Garfield walked near a wall, a fat man just appeared on him and just like beat him down and just like finished him up every time. He was so on it, and then he got that massive cask off.
Visit sometime.
No, I've been to Southend once. It was like that. It was like being Garfield in Southend.
Yeah, I mean, Gooba usually crying in a corner, you know, that's fine, but who knows. Stats are king, that's all I'm gonna say. Shows, I mean, Danish MVP as always, Shackle or Gooby, only 2 choices at home. I do think Zapdo played an incredible game, and the player really needed to see something off this caliber from as well right after that, like, week 1 we saw from Roddy overall. Now we've seen Pui, we've seen Zapdo really step it up, come back into the game. I think that's fantastic. And Fox, I'm going to start with you because you've been the guest today. Do you have any closing thoughts on what you've seen so far today?
I think honestly, it's all up for grabs. I would say normally you have like 1 or 2 teams that are just head and shoulders above the rest, right? And normally one of them as well. Like, you know, you can pretty much guarantee even before, you know, after the first few games are played, you know who's going to take it away. You know, because this league's seen the likes of you know, academy teams like Fnatic's academy teams, BTXL's academy teams. We've seen a lot of good teams come through the NLC, but this time around, like, I even think, like, you know, the top teams, it's hard to determine who is the top team. And then outside of that, as I mentioned before, it's all up for grabs, really. I think there's a good like 5 or 6 teams that can compete for 3rd place, and it's very uncommon for me to witness that in a league. So yeah, I've loved the parity that we've seen today. I've really enjoyed it. The games have been a lot of fun as well. We've seen a lot of cool stuff, and I will echo the sentiments of Nita, kind of hoping and waiting for the next few patches to come through so that we can perhaps change the meta a little bit and make things even more exciting.
How about you, Aragon?
Ooh, I think you've said everything there is to be said. You had a kind of monologue there for a solid 5 minutes now. I think that's fair enough.
That's Foxy.
Lasted a while. Look, you know, I wanted to say one last thing. I wanted to say was in this cast, I wanted to reference one of Foxdrop's videos. Like, I wanted them to lock in Malphite, and I wanted to say, oh, they should have watched Foxdrop's video on Malphite, the 1700 armor Malphite.
Bro, that video is so old. Like, that is
I
so
never
old.
got to. I never got to. No picks were ever picked, like the Lee Sin or anything like this that I could reverence.
When did I
Disaster.
release that?
Foxy
Bro.
getting hard fanboyed right now. I didn't even know who he was until I met him. I just never heard of you. I was like, who is this guy?
Hey, listen, it just proves that you're on call. It's my 4th most watched video. 5 years ago, bro. 5 years ago. 700 armor plus huge burst mage Malphite. Highest damage tank ever? Question mark, question mark?
With the red arrow in the thumbnail.
Red
so you
arrow
know
in the
where to
thumbnail.
Was
Like,
your
honestly,
face in the corner like?
Yeah, man, like... You know it, mate, you know it. Back when I was at my peak. Love it.
With that being said, I think we're going to sign off here from today. Remember, we are going to be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Remember to go over to Twitter at NLCLOL to put your vote in for Play of the Day. Thank you so much for watching from me. My name is Wheeler. I'm joined by Hibrain, Aragon, and special guest Foxdrop right below my face right here. Thank you so much for watching. See you all tomorrow.